verbatim. Nyuk, nyuk, nyuk. Certainly, here is to a club that has more fun than we do and gets itself into more trouble, especially these three characters. Let's go south. Mardi Gras time, okay? We all love Mardi Gras, and this is from the committee that organizes Mardi Gras in New Orleans. Let the good times roll, says the proclamation for Joliet Rotarians, but please don't send these four party boys back to New Orleans for Mardi Gras next year. Well, when 60 Minutes calls, that gets our attention at City Hall. I know that. And I know that they called a few weeks ago, and they wanted to extend an apology for the production staff mistaking one of our Rotarians for Vice President Cheney. That was our friend Larry Johnson. He's here defending himself and doing a very good job. And my last one, the last proclamation, we can't forget George W. Bush. Shaking hands with President Bush as President Clinton and President George H.W. Bush look on. Congrats to President Thornton on his installation as the chief decider. Glad that, and I'll say this, glad that outgoing President Tim Brophy made it clear that he would use the gavel on your knuckles if you blame the last president for everything that goes wrong. And last, I'd like to thank everybody that came tonight and all of our local partners, and we have many of them. And you can see that we really enjoy driving around town and seeing the 100th anniversary being celebrated by many institutions. And I know we have a lot of good Rotarians that work for these organizations, and we thank them. And we'd certainly like to thank President Burton and Mrs. Burton for being here tonight, District Governor Lyda, and Mrs. Lyda for honoring us with your presence tonight. And on a personal note, I do want to thank everyone for the many years that I've had the privilege of being part of Rotary. I've enjoyed the fellowship, and the best part of it is I've made lifetime friends, and I think that's what Rotary's all about. So thank you to all of you. Now, I would like to introduce Ed Dollinger, and Ed and I go way back. And I've survived a little bit longer than he has, but not quite, right? Not much. Ed and I had the privilege of serving as Ed's Sergeant-at-Arms in 1996, I believe, 5 and 6, a long time ago, and we really got to know each other well. And it was at a time when we were both very busy in our jobs, raising young children, going to games and doing a lot of things. And Ed's an incredible friend. He's been an incredible Rotarian, and I'd like to invite co-chair Ed Dollinger to the podium. Ed.
Well, thank you, Tom. And you know, you never know what Tom's going to say or do. So, and as co-chair of the Centennial Committee and year, we did not have any idea what Tom was going to do in the last 5 or 7 minutes, but great job, Tom. Thank you. No. Well, as Dave alluded to earlier, we've been working at this for the last 2.5 years, and it's been a quick 2.5 years. Lots of moving parts, and the fun part was just reconnecting with so many fellow Rotarians over the last 2.5 years. We started meeting once every 2 or 3 months, then we met every other month, then we started meeting every month in the last year. So it's really gone well. It involved lots of Rotarians in our club. But it was great reconnecting and also getting to, think back on all the accomplishments, everything that Joliet Rotary has done in the greater Joliet area. And it's really was a great humbling experience. And it was just exciting reconnecting with so many Rotarians and thinking about what all we did. So it's been a fun, quick 2.5 years. And truly it illustrates service above self. Mike and I, we got to know each other a lot better, had lots of fun working together, but as you know, it's not 1 or 2 people that put on an entire year's celebration. It's a collective effort of many, many people, and I'd like to introduce those folks tonight, and there's others who were involved in certain ways, but these were the primary co-chair type people. So as I call your names and explain a little bit about what you're responsible for, please stand, stay standing, and then we'll offer our applause at the end once everyone's introduced. So first, we had 6 subcommittees working together over the last 2.5 years. And the first was the whole history and video. You'll see that in a few more minutes here. But George Buck, Greg Pila, Pete Nichols, and Bill Lauer, they sort of worked together on a lot of the history, a lot of the wording of some of the print media you saw over the last few weeks here. So please stand, please stand. George Buck, Greg Pila, Pete Nichols, Bill Lauer. Our museum exhibit. You saw the banners as you walked in the hallways there. Larry Johnson, Tony Contos worked on those, and also Bill Lauer with the print, and Pete Nichols. You know, Pete and Bill, they've been here for a long time, and they really get upset when we misrepresent something or say something that isn't quite accurate. So they really held our feet to the fire there, but thank all of you for helping with that. The gala dinner, Dan Vera and Rick Gregg, they had many folks that helped, but Dan and Rick, thank you for that. Reservations, Jane Hopkins, she helped make sure you were at the right tables tonight. If you don't like who you're sitting with, talk to Jane later. It's all her fault. But in charge of reservations, Lori Rambo, Aaron O'Sullivan were part of the whole committee also, and I'm sure there were others, but those were at all our meetings, so thank you for that. Public relations. In the last few weeks and over the last year, you saw a lot in the media, newspaper, radio, our cable Channel 6 program. Debbie Condotti, Lisa Lass, Anastasia Tusky, Roxanne Geraci, please stand. All involved, press releases. Debbie was very instrumental in the video, again, you'll see shortly here. So thank you for that. Our Centennial projects. We had special events. Every month over the last 12 months, we did something special each month from the Joliet Rotary Club here. Some was small, some was bigger. And the ones that coordinated that, Ken Mihelich and Howard Hamilton, please stand. A lot of moving parts there over the last 12 months. And sponsorships and fundraising. We needed money for this party. We needed some money, so we raised some money, plus sponsorships, who you'll hear about shortly. Russ Slinkard and Mary Jaworski, please stand. So those are the primary folks. There's others I'm probably missed, but thank you for everything you've done. It's an honor to serve with you and call you our fellow Rotarians. So thank you. You made our job easy, so it was great. And now I'd like to invite up Russ and Mary. They're going to recognize our sponsors and also share our Centennial project. So please come forward.
Well, Ed, thank you very much. It was about 1.5 years ago that I got a call from Ed, and he said he needed my help on the Centennial Celebration Committee, and would I agree to be the fundraising chair? Well, Ed's a guy you don't say no to. He does so much himself that you just can't say no to him, so I agreed without asking what the goal was. And then I bravely said, by the way, Ed, what's the goal? I thought, yeah, 25,000, 30,000, piece of cake. He said, well, Russ, it's $100,000. 100,000 for 100 years. So I swallowed once, twice, I think. And then I thought, how in the world can we do this? I need a co-chair who knows how to raise money, for goodness sakes. And the person I turned to was my partner at the chamber, Mary Jaworski. So we took on the challenge together. And Mary, why don't you tell them how much money we raised?
Okay, thank you, Russ. I'm happy to announce this evening for the first time publicly that through the generosity of our Joliet Rotary Club members and business firms, we have raised a total of, Russ, why don't you tell them?
Well, with pleasure. We raised $100,755. Now, to do that, we obviously had many Joliet Rotarians and their business firms who each donated, and any amounts were donated. We had donations from $25 up, and every one of them counted toward reaching our goal. But we do want to take a moment and recognize those whom we regard as our major donors. They include ExxonMobil Corporation, our Gala sponsor, Rotarian Tricia Simpson.
Silver Cross Hospital, speaker sponsor, Rotarian Larry Johnson.
Edward Jones Investments, Rotarian Ed Dollinger, our reception sponsor.
Rotarian Paul Gansert, evening bar sponsor.
No dummy Paul. No. Rotarian Dr. Paul Morimoto, Centennial souvenir sponsor.
Rotarians John Darcy and Laverne Bitts Brown, four-way test sponsor.
Rotarian Brother James Gaffney and Lewis University dinner wine sponsor.
Rotarian Michael Turk and Turk Furniture, table centerpiece sponsor.
First Community Financial Bank and Rotarian Mark Griglione, entertainment sponsor.
President St. Joseph Medical Center and Rotarian Lisa Lager, invitation sponsor.
People First Bank and Rotarian Kathleen Zidek, valet parking sponsor.
Dr. Peter Nichols, hors d'oeuvre sponsor.
How about one big round of applause for all our sponsors?
One of the things that has been talked about throughout our centennial planning is what we were going to do with the money we raise. The committee and our board of directors were committed to using the money for a project that would do two things. One, provide a continuing, visible, and identifiable recognition of the 100th anniversary of the Joliet Rotary Club. Two, provide an ongoing service to the community for many years to come. Russ, would you share with us what our board has approved as our centennial project?
Well, rather than tell the club, Mary, let's show them, if we may. Well, then we'll tell them, no. We do have an architectural rendering of what will become, I think that's a lifetime project. No. Of what will be the Welcome Center at the Joliet Area Historical Museum and the Route 66 Center. This welcoming partition, which is modular, will serve as a focal point of the museum immediately upon entrance, identified as the Rotary Club of Joliet Centennial Wall, prominently featuring our rotary wheel, as well as the Route 66 logo, extending a warm welcome to all visitors to the museum and to Joliet. As a matter of fact, there are more than 24,000 visitors to our museum annually, including, there we go, and on the my far left, or your far left, I mean, if we could go far enough, that whole section just past the center panel with the screens is the Rotary wheel. So Rotary will be prominently recognized. As I was saying, there are over 24,000 visitors annually to our museum, including visitors from 37 states and 24 countries. While final decisions are yet to be made regarding design, we believe the wall design both communicates to and directs visitors to the central part of the museum. And where could a meaningful Rotary project be better located than in the Joliet Area Historical Museum, a Joliet treasure in itself, which regularly hosts international visitors, even as our local Joliet Rotary Club is a part of Rotary International. We are confident that upon reflection, Joliet Rotarians will be enthusiastic about this project, creating the Rotary Club of Joliet Centennial Wall. I have a letter from the Executive Director of the Joliet Area Historical Museum, of which I will read only the first two paragraphs. Greg Pierbolt says, on behalf of our Board of Directors and staff, thank you for your generous commitment to fund the Joliet Area Historical Museum's modular exhibit wall in our Route 66 Visitor Center. Henceforth, this structure will be known as the Rotary Club of Joliet Centennial Wall. Please accept our gratitude for this project, as well as our warmest congratulations on a century of service to the city of Joliet. Your commitment to our organization and the community of Joliet will be a lasting legacy enshrined in the Centennial Wall that will undoubtedly inspire future generations of local leading citizens to answer the call to service. And finally, I would share also with you that we do have a second project which we have funded, and that is the funding of the Malawi East Africa Water Project, which was done by our club some time ago in the amount of $7,000. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you, Russ and Mary, for the great news. As some of you may know, the City of Joliet actually helped develop the Joliet Area Historical Museum. Tim Brophy, past president, Joe Shatina was on the city council at the time, acquired the church that now is the museum about 12, 13 years ago, and has turned it into a wonderful place that's the repository of history of this great community. Sometimes I think we forget how great our community is. Take a walk through there. And the immediate past executive director is with us tonight, Tony Contos. Tony and I go way, way back, many, many years ago. And we thank him for his years of service. And we're very fortunate. As a matter of fact, we'll be there 2 weeks from tonight, and we'll be violating the noise ordinance. So, right, Thea? So, what I'd like to do is call Mike Rudolph to the podium. Mike.
Thank you, Tom. I would just like to echo Zed's appreciation to the Centennial Committee for the great job they did in organizing this event. They really made Ed and my job very easy by all the hard work they put in. So once again, thank you. Early on in the planning of our Centennial Celebration, the Centennial Committee felt strongly about creating a video to capture, celebrate, and commemorate the impact that Rotary has had on our members, our community, and the world during the past 100 years. A subcommittee has been working over the past 2 years to create the video that we will all view in a few minutes. I would like to thank all of our club members that shared their story of Rotary on tonight's video. Also, our Centennial video will highlight some international projects our club has been involved in through the years. We are very honored to have one of our international partners here with us to celebrate tonight. Father Philip Mehta from Malawi, Southeast Africa. Father Philip, would you please stand and be acknowledged? Now, with any further ado, let's all sit back, relax, and enjoy our centennial video. Thank you.
Rotary International, founded in 1905 by Paul P. Harris, a lawyer from Chicago, Illinois, is the world's first nonprofit service organization. Today, there are over 32,000 Rotary clubs all over the world with over 1.2 million members. Rotary clubs exist to help better the world, providing assistance to those in need through the donation of money and resources, community service, and scholarships. Thank you for joining us in celebrating 100 years of service by the Joliet Rotary Club.
Rotary has been a hugely important part of my life, and Joliet Rotary in particular. I learned about Rotary when I was just a young guy because my father came into the Joliet Rotary Club in 1931, and he was here until 1965 when he died. I came in 47 years ago in 1964 and have been here ever since.
I joined Joliet Rotary when I was 23 years old, 25 years ago. So it was an honor to be asked to become a member, and I felt so proud to be a young member of the club. I got involved in different committees, and at first, it was a way to network and get to know the business community here in the Joliet area. But then it started to grow on me as I got involved at the committee level and then eventually on the board level. So it's a great organization that allows you to give back to the community.
Rotary meant a great part of my younger life because I was at a younger age in those days. It something to be proud of because you got to know the people that were in Rotary, and the people that were in Rotary were very outstanding, and they all seemed to enjoy it very much.
I realized what a tremendous world service organization Rotary is and the fantastic people that are involved in Rotary. Since then, it's been an important part of my life. Over the years, between being past president, being involved in various conference functions, and also international conferences, I've met many interesting people and developed many pleasant friendships.
I love the opportunity to serve and know and work with so many different people that are real, true leaders in service in the Joliet community.
I started in October 1997, so it's been, 13 and a half years, I believe. I was very pleased to have the opportunity to join this club, and I think it's the premier club, of course. And I really have met some wonderful people. I made some great friendships. I made some professional networking connections, which are always important. And it's a very fun club to be a member, and I truly enjoy it. I truly enjoy it.
In 1973, I became involved in Rotary, got on the board and did activities and committees. I was challenged by Frank Turk, who is senior, who has passed us now, but gone on. But he challenged me in 1978. He had perfect attendance for 50 years plus at the time, and he said, I work down the street at Word and Buck Company. I can fall down the street to this meeting here. He said, you should have perfect attendance. It was more than a challenge. It was one of these things when Frank tells you to do it, you sort of have to really work at and get it done. So I did. In 1979, I started attending every meeting.
I've been fortunate to be involved with Rotary over 20 years, and each opportunity I've had to serve as a superintendent, I've made it a point to join Rotary because of its giving and compassionate type of focus.
Getting together with other business leaders on a weekly basis to interact really means a great deal to me. I've met a lot of great new business people over the years. I think I've been in Rotary now for 31 years. So I've met a lot of people over the years, and having fellowship on a weekly basis is very meaningful.
I joined Rotary approximately 12 years ago, actually as a recommendation from my boss that I may want to look at joining the service club. And as I joined it, I had the opportunity to meet a lot of great business people. While we come every week to meet, to network, and talk professionally, I think the most important thing to me with Rotary is how we come together to serve the community and to do community service projects, not only for our local area, but throughout the entire world, with some of our water projects, some of the fundraising for polio and those sort of things.
I enjoy especially the service projects that we do. I was co-chair actually, of the dictionary project, where we distributed dictionaries to area 4th graders for Joliet 86, as well as Rockdale, as well as the Southern Will County Co-op.
Rotarians apply the motto, service above self, to all aspects of life and promote a strong sense of friendship and camaraderie. Members are required to attend meetings, get others involved, sometimes